Good morning,
Hel-
Corey. Wait,
okay, so I wasn't quite sure how to start this video or what glasses to pick with this t-shirt, but I chose to wear this outfit first because I thought that this would be something Sam would wear. Then again, I later asked her, and she doesn't like Metallica, so maybe not. Either way, in the early 2000s, I began to notice some weird phenomenon, and that was that young girls, maybe in their early 20s, wearing Nirvana shirts. And there was a rumor that when you asked those girls what Nirvana means, they would reply that Nirvana is a clothing brand. So when I noticed those Metallica T-shirts, I I wanted to know what those designs represent because some of them looked like some random images you would associate with a rock or a metal band just slapped on a T-shirt. And when I searched this image, um, with the help of modern technology. Um, this image, as far as I know, is from um, from the 1997 Rebel tour, and I didn't uh, I'm not sure if this Rebel tour was only Metallica or Metallica with some other bands. Either way, uh, there when it comes to people who like Metallica, there are well most generically there are two kinds of people. There are people who like Metallica, and then there are people mm, who like Metallica only until a certain point time wise, chronologically, and basically the reason is that Metallica's first four albums were in the style of thrash metal, and the last thrash metal album was Injustice for All, and starting from 1991, the self-titled album, or the Black Album as it's called among fans, they started to work with a producer who, well, his name definitely is not Bob Ross, and they started to work with this producer, and that signified Metallica's shift to more mainstream metal, if you can call metal mainstream, which you probably actually can, especially nowadays. But the uh, fans who like only Metallica's first four albums, there is a little bit confusion of whether they actually like the fifth album, or what I mean, whether they regard it as the last good Metallica album. And I actually have read that some fans even say that the album is garbage, but the Enter Sandman, which was the first single from that album, Enter Sandman was actually the last good song of Metallica. And then after the self-titled album came Load and Reload, and The, I assume that if you like Metallica, you already know, but Metallica, even though in 1998 they released Garage Incorporated, which was a double album. Load was actually at some point going to be going to also be a double album, but I guess at another point, a later point, someone decided to release them as separate albums, which is actually why the album from 1996 is called Load, and the 1997 album is called Reload. But either way, uh, if one happens to be one of those people who only like Metallica's first four albums, then the Rebel T-shirt, which is associated with the '97 Rebel tour, is associated with the uh, commercial sellout Metallica era, and maybe is not as much appreciated as the next T-shirt I'm going to wear, which actually, as a side note, the fast fashion shop from Poland that had the Metallica T-shirts licensed products. They also had a T-shirt with the artwork of the cover art of Ride the Lightning, and this T-shirt, this Ride the Lightning, got sold out. I don't know how fast, but when I discovered those Metallica shirts, the Ride the Lightning was only available in XS size wise, and I definitely don't fit XS. I probably wouldn't fit size L either, but this T-shirt is um, is size L, but it's an oversized size L, and not that it matters much, but it's sold as a woman's T-shirt. So if you are the sort of person who associates the color pink on a man and maybe wearing a women's clothes as a man with some outdated insults, then have at it, I guess. Hello and welcome. Oh, right. Now this T-shirt is safely from the men's department, so this T-shirt is for men. This design is related to the 1990 to the 1988 album and Justice for All, and more specifically to Jack the Shortest Straw. I don't know if you can tell the detail from here, but the skull, for some reason, has fully fleshed out hands, and one hand is holding like a bunch of straws, and the other hand is holding the shortest straw. And this mysterious symbolism is so epic it makes you want to cry. Now I assume that since this design is connected to the good Metallica era, this shirt would also be sold out, but I guess not either, because people don't really associate this design uh, with the album and Justice for All, or they just don't like the design. And now, unlike the other shirt, this T-shirt is a men's XL, and when it arrived, it was a little bit too tight for me. So actually, I already ordered 2XL of the same shirt, but I guess I have lost some weight because right now it doesn't seem very uh, tight and yes, by the way, Scar and Farah know that I actually was sort of on a mini mission to lose some weight to to fit those shirts more, mm, well, to have those shirts fit better on me. And and also, speaking of Scar, I uh, yes, I chose the black hat to go. I originally chose a white baseball cap to go with this T-shirt, but I guess the black baseball cap looked better. But also, Scar actually kind of had input on this video because I asked her uh, whether I should wear baseball caps or beanies, I guess you call them, baseball caps or beanies with the t-shirts, and she recommended that I do uh, like a mix of them. And I guess since I'm going to wear three t-shirts, um, I'm going to the next t-shirt will be together with the beanie again. And finally, get a load of this or reload. This t-shirt is again woman's oversized large, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Which reminds me of this meme that I don't always listen to Metallica, but when I do, nothing else matters. Now, this t-shirt is actually my favorite out of those three I showed, and I guess the order in which I showed the designs correlates with my liking of those shirts. The Rebel t-shirt I like the least, and this one I like the most. This design is related to the 2016 album Hardwired to Self-Destruct, and more specifically the track Moth into Flame. I guess it was a promotional image or a cover from the promotional single, or I might have some info mixed up. Either way, when as I mentioned in the uh, towards the beginning of the video, there are those Metallic fans who like only the first four albums, and they don't like the so-called commercial sellout era of Metallica. But uh, in my opinion, and in the opinion of quite a few other people, the last so-called commercial album of Metallica was the 2003 album Saint Anger and the 2008 album Death Magnetic, as well as Hardwired to Self-Destruct, were sort of like a return to the thrash metal roots of Metallica, and I don't actually know whether those real Metallica fans like those newer albums. I haven't heard the seasons or 72 seasons or what it's called, but the two, I guess, previous new albums uh, were quite good if you like the thrash metal era of Metallica. and I think the fans of the thrash metal era should be welcoming to the return to the thrash metal roots. Either way, this T-shirt is actually the main T-shirt that I actually also want to. Why did I say the word actually so close to one another? uh, what? Okay. Anyway, this T-shirt is the one that I would like to give away to some friends that like Metallica. And actually, I gave this to my own aunt, whatever. But she kind of sent me some mixed messages with this T-shirt, because at first, when she saw me wearing it, she liked it, and then she tried it on and said that she doesn't really like the design because it confuses confuses her, because she sees the design as two separate images. There is this skull of a lamb or someone wearing a lamb skull, and then there is the bottom design with a butterfly. But then again, she also said that it's actually a good T-shirt and she likes it. So I don't know. Either way, I ordered the M size for her, because the L looked very big on her. So I suppose you have noticed that when I record these videos, I ran into a moment where I ran out of words, and then I uh, kind of become panicked inside, and kind of locked down, and or freeze up, or however you could say. And I have actually tried separate methods of making videos. The the first is that I write a specific script and I follow it, and this actually is this doesn't work for me, because uh, the I guess it I guess that the term multitasking was kind of invented in the 90s, or at least it became like the new popular term to use for humans, to describe humans doing multiple things at the same time. And well it became trendy to say that I'm human and multitasking. Oh, but actually there is no such thing as multitasking when it comes to humans. And when you have a person that is seemingly doing a million things at once, that person actually is not multitasking. And what uh, since the term multitasking came from computers, I it would be fitting to use the computer analogy. The thing is that when a human appears to be multitasking, I guess you could say that the human brain is like a one core processor that could only do one task at a time. And uh, the illusion of multitasking occurs when the brain, the human brain is quickly switching between tasks. And actually, when you acknowledge that that there is no such thing with humans as multitasking, and the human brain is like a one core processor that is switching between different tasks, it becomes actually very easy to understand that since people are different, and some people appear to be better at multitasking than others, and if you take into account my analogy, it should become easy to see that the people who are bad or worse at multitasking than some other people, they actually, what happens is that their one core processor is constantly overheating, and it can't handle the quick switching between the tasks. And well, basically, um, I guess my brain is like that. So when I write the script and try to follow the script, I mm, it's even funny to say it that way, but I guess my brain gets confused because it has to do two tasks at one time. It has to read the script and also like uh, basically read the script out loud. And the second method that I can have is that I prepare a single slide, and maybe that's actually helpful to someone. You prepare a single slide, and you write down some keywords, and you just uh, in that case you only have to glance at the screen a few times to make sure that you are covering the topics you want. And actually, when I was attending to some lectures at the university, the cultural psychology, the professor that read us lectures, he also had the same method. He didn't have a laptop, but he had his sheet of paper in front of him, and well, probably there were multiple sheets of paper, but those sheets of paper actually, uh, I mean, they're sorry if I my it seems like I'm jumping topics. I actually am not, but I actually have had those type of lecturers who had like I don't know, I didn't see what they have, but it could be surmised that they had like the lecture script written out, and they were constantly reading. They were looking at the paper, then looking at the class, looking and so on. But and this actually was very sort of distracting. And well, I should say that I should give those lecturers credit for doing this, because I can't imagine myself doing that. You know, uh, constantly looking at the paper and then looking at the class. But either way, this could be perceived as distracting, because they often mm, paused in their lecture or speech to look at this paper. But the dude read who read us the cultural psychology lectures, this dude had pieces of paper. Uh, when I say pieces of paper, I mean the A4 traditional paper. but anyway, he had papers in front of him with keywords uh, uh, written on them, and when he was giving us the lecture, he only had to look at the keywords I guess uh, he tremendously prepared those lectures, but or maybe he was just that uh, well versed in his topic. But either way, I was really impressed that he only appeared to have a single sheet of paper or a couple of papers, like maybe five or something, and they just contain keywords, and this actually made his lectures more rapid and more enjoyable, because a lecturer has to always be enjoyable to the listener also. So yes. And the third method that I'm uh, that I have recorded my last few videos, like the dishwashing video, which I I I made surprisingly little cuts in between, because I don't know how anyone else perceives, but the moments where I clearly am looking for words to fitting words, I felt that actually those moments were gave sort of authenticity authenticity to my talking, and I chose to cut the silence only in the moments where it was clearly too long or I didn't say anything, and I realized that the part that I'm uh, talking that I'm covering right now, it doesn't have anything to do with Metallica shirts, but this is kind of my explanation as to why I suddenly appear to become silent, as I did with the t-shirt. I just it's the computer analogy where a human can't multitask because he only has a one core processor, which is which can be overheat when it has to constantly switch between tasks. This analogy actually is very amusing, because when you keep that analogy in mind, you also um, would understand that when I run out of words, I just shut down, and this would be like, uh, well, surely you have experienced that your computer, especially laptop, because in desktop you hopefully have more than one fan, but in the case of a laptop, processor overheating, you have only this one tiny laptop fan, and your computer might shut down more often than a desktop. And in this analogy, I'm like a computer that when I run out of words, I just shut down, and I know that and although there are people who in this case, in the same case, when they run out of words, they fill the dead silence with mm, some any run of words that come to their minds. But I guess I'm not built like that, and you can argue that it's actually better because when I run out of words, that's it. I run out of words, and maybe it's better than to start rambling and start filling their air with.
I guess irony can be pretty ironic sometimes.
You know what I mean? Which is actually quite annoying to listen to. Yeah!
I mean, here we are, surrounded by metal, Purvis, and it's useless. Might as well write them off. Let's close up the bridge. Let's get out of here. Close it up. Lights out.